It is very bad to know that you are the one that is actually stupid, and then you are trying to call people that look like me stupid. Because you don't necessarily need to call our name for we to know that, yeah, you're talking to us. You sat down there, set your camera, and assume that every single person is going to be against one person. I don't even understand how some of these white folks thinks, honestly. When I saw this particular clips on my FYP, I was like, what was he even thinking before he started? Like, what was his intention? I don't just know. But anyways, welcome back to the channel. Sonia, subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credit belongs to original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. With that being said, let's dive right into this video, and I'll be back with commentaries.
You're not stupid. Please, for the love of God, tell me you're not stupid. You do know that the Epstein files is nothing more than a Democrat hoax and a Democrat distraction. Use your brain, people. If you're a liberal, you ain't got one, I get it. It is what it is. But use your freaking brain. If 95% of this stuff they're saying about Donald Trump related to Jeffrey Epstein was true, in 2015, this would have been world news. Breaking news everywhere. Y'all stop being so gullible. This is called politics. The Democrats are sick, evil, disgusting, disturbing individuals. What about Kilmar Obrego Garcia? Did we just forget about that poor family dad from Maryland? Where's he at? What about all the ICE agents that are going in and stealing children from their parents? What? Oh, we're back to Epstein now? Y'all are a bunch of freaking idiots. If you believe this Epstein stuff, you are an idiot. Just a few days ago, y'all had a No Kings rally. What happened to that? Y'all, seriously, stop being stupid. I wish for one split second, just 30 days, I wish for 30 days that the Republican Party would grow a spine and become like the Democratic Party. Hear me out. The Democratic Party is dirty. They're nasty. They'll go to the depths of hell to drag stuff up. I wish the Republicans for one second would play their cards. Please, if you're a Republican and you are in Senate or Congress, please. You ever heard that saying, pull a you on you? I wish they would pull a Democrat on the Democrats.
There comes a point in every society when the mask slips and we are forced to reckon with the truth of who we are. Today feels like one of those moments. I'm reading about the Epstein files and all the political maneuvering around them, and I cannot shake the sickness that rises in my chest. The questions about who is implicated, the whisper campaigns about reputations, the strategists gaming out the fallout, all of it circles around the same obscene failure, that we live in a country that cannot or will not protect its children. We live in a culture that treats the safety of young girls like a variable in some political equation. And while the powerful argue over redactions and timing and optics, the truth is sitting in plain sight. That a child was not protected, that many children were not protected, and the people sworn to guard them were busy protecting themselves. And as these files spill out into the public square, I can already hear the excuses beginning to form in the mouths of men who have never known a consequence that they could not bribe their way out of. Some will claim a moment of weakness, some will mumble something about how the child was dressed, someone will try to paint a child as complicit in her own exploitation. The script is old, the cowardice is older. It's all bullshit. Every last syllable of it. A child is sacred, and a child deserves a world that is safe enough for them to grow inside of without fear of being hunted by those who have more power than decency. There should be no mercy for any person who preys on a child, no matter their political party or bank account or fame. There should be no quiet absolution for the ones who enabled it or looked the other way or brought silence with checks and threats. If this moment means anything, it has to mean that the powerful do not get to rewrite the truth to save themselves. It has to mean that a child's trauma is not a footnote to a scandal, but the center of the story. It has to mean that we finally choose to build a society where the children are kept close and safe because we understand the weight of what is taken from them when we fail. Childhood is supposed to be short, but it is also supposed to be holy. a small and sacred window where the world is wide and full of possibility, and no one has yet taught you to be afraid. When someone steals that, they do not commit a crime just against a single person. They commit a crime against the entire human story. They burn down something irreplaceable. They poison a future that never had the chance to bloom, and we have allowed it to happen again and again and again because too many politicians and donors and celebrities and executives have carved out an escape hatch for themselves so they can pretend that a child's pain is not their problem. But it is our problem. It has always been our problem. The measure of a country is not in its economy or its armies or its elections. The measure of a country is in how fiercely it protects the smallest and softest lives within it. Right now, our measure is failing. Right now, we are looking into a mirror and seeing the rot that we have allowed to grow beneath our institutions and our excuses and our worship of the powerful. I do not care who is named in those files. I do not care how famous they are or how wealthy they are or how many friends they have in Congress. If they harmed a child, they should face judgment that is swift and severe. If they enabled the harm, they should face the same. The only people who deserve protection in this story are the ones who are robbed of theirs. And somewhere in all of this, in the middle of the outrage and the grief, I still believe we can make a different choice. We can build a world where the innocence is not a commodity for the powerful to consume. We can build a world where children get to stay children for as long as they can. We can build a world where the safety of the vulnerable is not negotiable. But it starts with telling the truth. It starts with refusing to look away. It starts with saying that the humanity of a child is worth more than the reputation of any adult who betrayed them. Because this is not simply a scandal. This is not a headline. This is a wound in the soul of a nation that forgot what it owed its young. Every courtroom and every hearing and every redacted file is a reminder of what happens when the powerful decide that their comfort is more important than a child's future. And if we accept that, if we shrug and move on, then we become the next generation of bystanders who choose silence over courage. So here's the line. Here's the moment where we stop pretending we cannot see the darkness in our own house. Every name that deserves exposure should be exposed. Every person who harmed a child should face judgment that is swift and uncompromising. And every institution that enabled it should be stripped bare until there is nowhere left for the rot to hide. A country that cannot protect its children cannot claim to be moral. A people who cannot defend the innocent cannot claim to be good. But we are still capable of being both. The door to redemption is narrow, but it is not closed. It requires honesty. It requires consequence. It requires the courage to say that a child's life is worth defending at all cost. If we mean anything at all when we talk about justice or decency or the future, then this is where we stand. This is the ground we defend. No more hiding or excuses. No more looking away. Let the truth come out. Let the guilty face what they did, and let every child who was hurt know that their country finally chose them. Defiance till death.
The Epstein files is nothing more than a Democrat hoax and
Stop. Just throw it away, home. Throw it away. Toss it. Wherever the fuck you got it, go take it back. Go get a fucking... I hope you got the receipt. Take that shit back and get a refund. Stop. Just fucking stop, okay? Stop. Stop. This is a Democratic hoax. To put them two motherfuckers together years ago? Y'all gotta stop with this shit. Y'all gotta stop with this shit. Because if it was a Democratic hoax, we would be really selective on who's in the list and what they should have. Do we look like we give a fuck? Do we look like we give a fuck? You name a name that might be in them files. What is our answer? Okay, lock the motherfucker up. Bill Clinton might be in there. Lock his bitch ass up. Tom Hanks might be there. I doubt it, but if he is, lock his bitch ass up. What about Oprah? What the fuck about her? If she in them lists, get the fuck on. You? Hey man, Trump's in that list. Wait a minute. He said he got rid of him. Not us, you. If it's a distraction, why y'all fighting so fucking hard against it? If it's a hoax, then let's get them all out there. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you say anything. You act as though we don't want them fucking files out, bro. Come on, son. You goddamn right we do. And we're willing to torch any motherfucker that's in the bitches. It's a little bit of difference between the left and the right. The right, y'all got every excuse for why this motherfucker ain't in this shit. For us, we don't give a fuck. We scorched earth, bitch. If Elmo's in them motherfucking files, lock Elmo's bitch ass up. If Tony Stark's in the motherfucker, Tony Stark gotta go to jail. If Darkseid is in them goddamn files, we're gonna have to go to Apocalypse and serve the goddamn warrant to arrest his ass. And next time you boom tube to America, bitch, we gonna boom tube your ass to jail. Not y'all. Not y'all. Wow. What the fuck is wow? Hey, how do you feel about Matt Gaetz? How do you feel about Matt Gaetz? How do you feel about knowing that a 17-year-old at the time had sex with Matt Gaetz for money? And you know who said it? The person in question. Is that a Democratic hoax? Did we hoax the money out of Matt Gaetz' pocket and then hoax it into her pocket so that Matt Gaetz could have relations with her? Did we do that? How is it y'all all about personal responsibility except for your faves? If Donald Trump's in that shit, wouldn't you want that shit out just to make sure he ain't? Ooh, this is a tough subject. Ooh, Lord. I got to pick between actually following the law or supporting my man who I love so much. What the fuck is that? The Democrats didn't hoax a relationship between Jeff Epp and this motherfucker. He did. So y'all can save it. Stop. Whatever the fuck it is, take it back. I'm like Robert De Niro. Wherever you take, bring it back. I don't give a fuck. Take it back. I don't care. Bring it back. Take it back. Because that's some bullshit. Y'all are not running from this. Okay? There is no shadowy Democrat cabal that wants to bring down this jackass. You know what our plan is? Operation Just Let Y'all Talk. We know something is fucked up in Donald Trump's head. Why? Because he said it. I had an MRI and the doctor said it was perfect. You don't get MRIs for fucking shits and giggles there, goofy. We believe Megyn Kelly is out here fighting for the pedos. Why? Because she fucking said it. She's trying to make a distinction between a 5 and a 15-year-old. We don't have to manufacture a relationship between Jeff Epp and that motherfucker. He did it. So if he's in them files, fuck him. Send his ass to jail. But I know you won't do it. Because him daddy, greatest president my whole life. Y'all sound like fuck.
Tweet is important because there are a lot of people who don't understand why so many people care about the Epstein files. Lil Duval said, why do people still care so much about the Epstein files? If you do find out something wild, it still won't change anything at this point. It's like people just want to prove that they right. Well, Lil Duval, people care about what's in the Epstein files because the people said to be in there are very powerful people, very wealthy people who have abused that power. People want them to be held accountable. The victims deserve that. The victims deserve for the world to know the truth. This is not just some gossip in the streets. This is serious. These are pedophiles. Okay? It's actually really disgusting. Somebody responded to him and said, I F with you, bro, but all pedophiles need to go to jail, bro. What the F when we start protecting pedophiles? He said, I agree, but I'm not about to stress over something above my pay grade. I'd rather focus on stuff I know I can change. Lil Duval, I hope you don't have daughters. I hope and pray that your fans have never been a victim of pedophilia. Because this is very insensitive and you can actually focus on this thing and focus on other things as well. It's called multitasking. And you yourself may not be able to change it, but you can stand for something. you can say that this is not right. Pedophilia is not right. What the
supporters. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a little conversation here. We're going to talk about distraction. Distraction meaning that that's what the Trump administration is doing. Donald Trump has nailed his ass to the coffin. There is no two ways about that. This son of a bitch is going to go to prison. And let me just explain something. If he gets out of this Jeffrey Epstein thing, you can absolutely 100% know that this government is more crooked than you thought. And also, you can also know how corrupt Donald Trump is. I just think it's interesting, just a tidbit of shit here, that Jeffrey Epstein ended up committing suicide, okay? Also, one of the ladies that is actually inside of those emails committed suicide this year as well. I'm not saying nothing. I'll let you read into that. But it's awful funny how people are starting to fucking disappear when his name is attached to shit. And that's all I'll say about it. You're smart enough to figure that one out on your own. If you voted for this man, if you literally voted for this man, I don't give a fuck, family, friend, foe, you can fuck yourself. This is a crook. This is a criminal. This is a sex predator. This guy has messed with underage kids, and you supported this. I look at you totally fucking different now. MAGAs, thanks for fucking us.
I don't know, little Duval. Maybe because children are being raped by people in power in our government. This is also something that I absolutely am obsessed with about the Epstein files. In cases like the Diddy trial and Tory Lanez, things of that realm, because the celebrities come out and you get to find out just who the fuck they really are. Most of these people have kids of their own, like Megyn Kelly having 3 fucking daughters and saying, oh, he just liked he just liked jailbait. He just liked ripe teenagers, not too old, not too young. It's all bad. They're children being raped. And we need to make sure that every time a comment like this or something that Megyn Kelly said or something in the media online, that we eat these motherfuckers up every time and tell them to stay within 50 feet of a school.
All right, little Duval, let me talk to you, fuck nigga. Don't ever talk on middle class problems ever again. You are embarrassing yourself with this take. This is it bothers me. You don't get it, but that's why I'm here, to make you understand it from a middle class perspective. All right, let's talk about you, little Duval. You have money. You are successful. You live a lifestyle. You have money. You don't have to worry about the average person's problem. And you may be thinking to yourself, like, oh, why do I say that? It's because when you have those things, you have the ability to put yourself out of that. Because the thing is, this is the thing, with people in middle class, we already have to deal with our paychecks, not having enough money, paying high expenses like rent, now food, car, houses. We have to deal with politicians from every level, local, the city, not doing their part to help us, especially against corporations. There's so many massive layoffs that could have been avoided, but again, companies decide to make certain choices. The local government isn't helping us. The senator isn't helping us. None of the presidents aren't helping us. And the stuff that they do affects us. Because again, we're not at your level. We're trying to get to your level, Duval. Everyone, majority of the people, I guarantee you, are trying to get to your level. Because again, you're right. Because to a point, I do agree with you up to a certain point. Because you have the ability to just escape this life. If you wanted to live somewhere else, you could. You can. Right? So don't sit here and try to talk about our problems. Because this is going to affect us. It's just not going to affect us. Their ethics, what kind of ethics and morals do these people have if they're on that list? Like, come on, like, use your head, Duval, come on. And I like you. I was like, I've seen your content around there. But this wasn't it. Sorry. I want to go ahead and see what you guys think. Put your comments below and See you guys in another
thing in there. The Democrats never brought this up because they actually don't care about the victims in these cases. They care about trying to score political points against President Trump.
Oh my God, nobody cares. Nobody cares what the Democrats do or do not care about. Nobody cares what Joe Biden didn't do. He's not president anymore. Just release the fucking files. Look, anybody who's implicated here should be exposed, whether they're left-wing politicians, right-wing politicians, US politicians, British politicians, Swiss, Swedish, Armenian, or Norwegian politicians, if it's tech billionaires, investment bankers, royal family members, or Russian oligarchs. If there is any credibility to the claim that this child trafficking operation had ties to intelligence agencies and they were using sexual encounters with underage girls to blackmail powerful people, if our governments have been compromised by the actions of dirty old men, that should be exposed. Stop talking about the Democrats and release the files. Now, are the Democrats releasing files strategically to target Donald Trump specifically? Of course they are, but you know what? If evidence of Donald Trump's long-term friendship with a known international child trafficker is harming his political career, maybe it should harm his political career. Maybe consequences for that is a good thing. You know what? I don't want to hear anyone who's ever unironically used the term traditional Christian family values in an argument say anything about this other than, oh my God, this is horrific. We should release the files and expose them all now.
Duval posted this on Twitter. Why do people still care so much about the Epstein files? If you do find out something wild, it still won't change anything at this point. It's like people just want to prove that they right. I think people care about the Epstein files because it's a list of pedophiles. If there's a whole bunch of rich and powerful pedos running around trafficking little girls, I think that's something worth caring about, especially if those people are potentially in government. Very high parts of the government, like the White House, like the President of the United States might be in them Epstein files. That's something that you should care about. This is a wild question to ask. And then he said it won't change anything. I think that the public has a right to know who and what is in those files. And any potential wrongdoers need to be held accountable. So yeah, people care about that. I'm also happy that the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing is not something that just got brushed under the rug, because I know the news cycle moves really fast. We talk about something for a week and then we just forget about it. The fact that people are staying on top of this, I don't know. It gives me hope for humanity. He said people just want to be proven right. If you're right about a child predator, I don't see what's wrong with that. I feel like the focus should be on the predators and not the people who were right. I don't know.
That the men who hold the reins of the world in their hands are so small bean that they are emailing Jeffrey Epstein for advice about girls. Larry Summers, 64 years old at the time, 2019, former Secretary of the Treasury, former Director of Economic Policy under Obama, former President of Harvard University, emails Epstein with a play-by-play of a phone call he had with a woman who clearly was not interested in him, and he was trying to rizz her up anyway. Epstein replies, "You reacted well. Annoyed shows caring. No whining showed strength." Many people have wondered how Jeffrey Epstein made his money. He went from being a private school teacher to being one of Wall Street's most powerful financiers. And these emails hold some of the answer. He performed emotional labor for rich and powerful men who hated themselves. He was like their therapist, he was their dating coach, and in a practical sense, he was their fixer. He made introductions for them, he took care of problems, and in the process of getting really, really close, he came to either make them feel like they needed him as a friend, as an emotional safety blanket, or he gathered blackmail material on them. Epstein was to the 1990s and 2000s American political elite what Rasputin was to the Russian court directly before the revolution. This mysterious guy, enigmas never age, who comes out of nowhere and becomes a confidant, becomes this kind of important social node in the court that is able to do it because the whole thing is decaying around him, Nobody really believes in the values that kind of propped up the institution, and they only worship power, wealth, and the appearance of it, and you have a bunch of incompetent people at high levels of power, such as Larry Summers. You might be asking yourself where Larry Summers is now and if he has found love. Well, don't despair. According to his Wikipedia, he remains married to his wife of 20 years, who he was also married to at the time he was emailing Epstein for girl advice. Career-wise, he is now a distinguished senior fellow at the Center for American Progress, a think tank that also employs Anthony Blinken, and Summers is writing the economic policy part of a Project 2029 for Democrats, trying to fix many of the same economic problems that Larry Summers created over the past 30 years of being one of the guys who had the most say over how the economy was mismanaged. There's one exchange between Summers and Epstein in particular that sticks out to me. It takes place in 2017, kind of peak Me Too, and Summers is complaining to Epstein about getting canceled. He says, "Why is it that if you hit on a few women 10 years ago, you can't work at a network or think tank? Do not repeat this insight, all caps." It makes me think there is a connection between the unethical private behavior of a lot of these powerful people and the poor results we see from when they are in charge of stuff. Because the kind of boss who hangs out with Jeffrey Epstein might be the kind of boss who hits on a bunch of younger female coworkers, the kind of boss who doesn't like to hear criticism, the kind of boss who's going to shield someone else who's kind of toxic in the organization. And those management practices are going to make any organization less effective, less disciplined, and less capable of solving problems. So it's led me to think that maybe the Me Too movement was also a kind of antibody response within these institutions to the sickness that was attacking them. Because a workplace culture of harassment doesn't come out of nowhere. It is not a coincidence. It is a downstream effect of your boss's boss hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein. That infrastructure was poisoned from the top down. The fish rots from the head. And that's why people care about the Epstein story, because it isn't just this one dude and his crimes and people who may or may not have been accomplices of his. It is the fact that he was allowed to happen in the first place. The system made a place for this guy and it protected him, but it didn't make a place for you. It didn't protect you.
Anyway, guys, I hope you guys have seen all of that clips and you guys can imagine what these adults that we actually think that his number 6 is actually correct. Anyways, right from time, me, I know that a lot of these white folks has what we call sco, which simply means something is missing somewhere when it comes to the Mondilia Oblongata. That is why they can actually come out and say every single thing without even having any single remorse. Now let's just assume that every single thing he said is true and we should stop deceiving ourselves and the Epstein files did not really exist, blah blah blah. Do you think that by now the Orange Man wouldn't have released it? The Orange Man would have released it long time ago. And or let's assume that this particular file we are talking about is relating to black folks. Do you think that by now the Orange Man will be withholding this file? He would have released it with his full chest. Like he would have released it without even looking back, without even seeing anybody. But anyways, who are we to say that the Orange Man is involved or is not involved? We just keep our fingers crossed and we're just going to keep watching and seeing what comes out of it, because I just know that no matter how the foul play keep playing, one day definitely it is going to speed out. And it is more annoying that this man is even more concerned about something else rather than people's children's life that has literally been affected during these Epstein flies, blah 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 blah, east, west, north and south. So some of these white folks do not have conscience. I'm saying some because when I went to his comment section, I know that a lot of people actually attacked him. A lot of people, a lot of white folks even stitch his videos as well to tell him that I don't think you know what you're saying. I don't think you really, really know what we are really talking about, because I feel like a lot of them are even blind to all of these things that we are saying. They don't know. They just want to just say something out there that can be just be controversial and so on and so forth. Just like the annoying nurse that left a black woman crying in labor, blah blah blah. What did one person came to say? One white folk said that he didn't really think that what really happened was the exact situation, that the nurse did not abandon anybody, that even if he does, is that not the work ethics? It's just a whole lot when you see these white folks talking something that you just look at yourself and you start asking yourself questions like, are these people really okay? Are these people really, really okay? It's quite sad. Me, as far as I'm concerned, I know that people that look like me, no matter what, God will keep coming through for them, and God will keep exposing. The days of exposing is drawing closer every single day. No matter how long you try to hide it, no matter how long you try to run, no matter how long you try to paint it, it will still come out one day. You can run every single time, but you cannot run forever. So even if the file is not being released till the end of the Orange Man's tenure, it will still be released one day, and that time every one of us will see. And I'm not saying that the Orange Man is involved. I didn't say that. Please. But my assumption is what I still stand on. That if this is literally not affecting the Orange Man, or is not affecting what will actually make the Republicans cry, or what will actually make the Republicans lose a whole lot, do you think that by now they wouldn't have brought it out? I don't know, you guys let me know what you think in the comment section. Credit belongs to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. And if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Do subscribe, like this video, drop me your comments, and lastly, do not forget to share for every other person to get this good news. And guys, with that being said, with no further ado, I do like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be simple, and I'll see you guys in my next one. And for now, bye guys, I love you guys. Mwah. Let me know your thoughts.